Good afternoon. It's Tuesday, April 14th, and you are watching the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends at FanDuel. I'm not Jason Cooper, as you can see. His suspension continues here. A Jason free week of the Hammer Daily continues here. And as a nice treat for all of you, I got So Money joining us today. Going to be a fun show. I'm looking forward to it. I am Alex Moretto, and I will be your host, joined by not only So Money Sports, but also So Other Sports. Not just a hockey show here today. We're going to get into some NBA play-in stuff, some NBA futures, and then we're going to, flip over and do the same thing for the NHL. So, yeah, a lot of fun stuff planned. I'm looking forward to it. Before we bring him on, though, I do want to tee up the show for you guys, take care of a little housekeeping. The NHL playoff field was set last night. That's exciting. Our Kings made the playoffs. Got to talk to So Money about that. He was very adamant about them not making the playoffs. I doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down. It was ugly as could possibly be, but we got them home with a few games to spare. Very happy about that. I'm looking forward to talk to him about that. NBA play-in starts tonight. Playoffs start tonight. I actually don't know what is this like. Do we consider this the playoffs starting tonight, or do we consider it like the play-in as its own separate entity, and then the playoffs start on Saturday? I'm not actually sure. The only of the major North American sports with the play-in. MLB has the wild card, but like that's very much like the playoffs. That's like a series. I would say the play-in is different. Playoffs don't start until Saturday, but what do I know? I'm curious as to what So Money thinks about that. What you guys think about that? Let me know in the chat or the comments your take on that. I'm also curious your thoughts on the concept of a play-in general. There's been talk about the NHL maybe getting a play-in going at one point. I hate the idea of a play-in. I'm praying the NHL never goes that route. I think it sucks. I think it really takes away from the significance of the regular season. A regular season, by the way, that's going up to 84 games here. So like we're going to increase the amount of games, but also take away the significance. It just doesn't feel like it makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. We just went through like a grind to end the season here. The playoff race was so good for a while. It looked like it was going to come down to the wire. It very much didn't. That turned out to not be the case because the teams who earned their space in the playoffs in the end, they separated themselves from the pack. And like the ones who didn't, they faded. That's generally how this works. Like Bruins and Sens are now 4 points clear of the teams below them. Columbus, they were second in the Metro at one point. They lost 8 of their last 10. Detroit, first in the Atlantic at one point. This year, in 2026, they lost 9 of their last 12. The Caps basically conceded that they weren't a playoff team at the deadline, trading guys away. I don't know. I just don't see why we would reward those teams for that. They had every chance. They blew it in spectacular fashion. They do not deserve another shot at the playoff, especially at the expense of the teams who earned their place. That's just my take on that. I know you can pick apart the Kings' resume, but it's not like teams like the Preds and Sharks are any better. So I don't like the idea of a play-in. I hope the NHL never goes that route. That being said, there are just more games for us to bet on, which is always a nice thing too. So we'll get So Money's thoughts on all because you definitely do not want my thoughts. I couldn't even name you like 2 players playing tonight in this play, and so that's why we got So Money joining us in a minute. Before we do, I want to talk to you about our friends at FanDuel because, as I just mentioned, the NBA play-in tournament is back, and you can get better payouts this NBA play-in tournament on FanDuel. Just head to the FanDuel Sportsbook app. That's where all FanDuel customers can claim a profit boost every day of the tournament. This way, you'll score a bigger W if your bet wins. Plus, you can also enter FanDuel's Play-In Palooza for a chance to win a share of $2 million, seems good, in bonus bets every day of the play-in tournament. All you have to do is place a live bet using your Play-In Palooza token. Then you'll automatically be entered for a chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. So don't just watch the NBA play-in tournament from the sidelines. Visit FanDuel.com/the hammer to get in on the action. That's FanDuel.com/the hammer to claim your daily profit boost. And don't forget to enter FanDuel's Play-In Palooza for a chance to win a share of $2 in bonus bets. Play your game with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Must be 21 plus in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. 18 plus in DC, Kentucky, Wyoming. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Limit 1 entry. Profit boost bonus issued as not withdrawable profit boost token. prizes issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Visit mbgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org. Call 800-327-5050 in Massachusetts. Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY in New York. Call 1-877-770-7867 in Louisiana. All right. How was that? How was that ad read? I don't know. Decent. All right. Mike's giving me a thumbs up in the background. That's also Mike, producer back here. He's going to be operating everything behind the scenes. We appreciate all the work he's doing. All right. I will not delay any longer. So Money's been anxiously waiting in the background. His hair looks fantastic. I can promise you that. I think his mic's going to be not muted too. I can already tell based on the icons I'm seeing back here. So here we go. So Money, thank you for joining me today. I'm very, very excited to get this show going.
Thanks for having me, Alex. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's start with the NBA. I want to start with the Kings, but we'll wait. We'll make everyone wait because we had a lot of back and forth on them. But I do want to get to the play-in because that's sooner. That starts here tonight. We'll start in the East. Miami and Charlotte. I know our good friend GRP, friend of the program, friend of the Hammer, has some big Charlotte futures going right now. -6 on FanDuel, a total of 229.5. Talk to me about this one. I think so. The winner of this game goes to face the winner of or the loser of the tomorrow's Philly Orlando game, right? So the winner of this doesn't automatically get into the playoffs, but they keep their hopes alive at the 8th seed, right? Okay, so talk to me about this game. Do you have anything in this game tonight?
I do. So Charlotte is we know that Charlotte is sorry, one second. We know that Charlotte is the better shooting team. I do have concerns about Miami in terms of how they can kind of keep up here, and also their form heading into the playoffs as well. I think that there's a lot to be Miami leaves a lot to be desired here. Charlotte, they're younger, but they rely on that shot, and sometimes when you get in the playoffs, that gets a little bit tough. I think that's accounted for in the line. They're -6. I think it's a little bit too high, but because of the way Miami has been down the stretch, I will leave that alone. Where I do have a play is on the over in this game. I think that even if Charlotte doesn't shoot as well as they usually do, I think that the pace of this game is still going to be higher. We're up to 229.5 right now. I think that's fine. I would go up to 230 on this game. I did play the over, and it's strictly about pace here. Even if I think the pace will be good enough that even if the shots aren't falling, then I think that this game should be able to sneak over.
Okay, yeah, I see a lot of 230s and 230.5s on the board. So our friends at FanDuel, one of the best prices in market. So if you're going to want to tail some money on that one, you're going to want to bet that over at FanDuel. I wish I could offer more so money. Our nice back and forth on these hockey games. I have literally nothing. I have nothing to add. I couldn't name you a player on Charlotte, unfortunately. But that's good for our friend GRP. Maybe a quick pace game. Hopefully Charlotte. I want to see some good things happen for him. See him flaunt those tickets. So hopefully Charlotte can get there too. We'll stay in the East here before we get to the other game tonight, and we'll maybe take a look at tomorrow's game, Orlando and Philly. Winner of that one gets the 7 seed, I believe, and goes to play Boston in round 1. Either of these teams you think can give Boston a run for their money? I've heard some people that have come on this show talk about the upside of a team like the 76ers and maybe some 76ers futures. Are you in the same boat? So if you could just give me your thoughts first on this game between Orlando and Philly, where the 76ers currently 2-point favorites, and then the possibility of a series versus Boston for either of these teams. If maybe there's one you want to see win tomorrow that you want to bet against Boston or fade against Boston. Talk me through this one.
Yeah, so for this game, I'm pretty confident in the pace of the Charlotte-Miami game. I'm not confident in the pace of this game. I think that Orlando is going to want to slow it down. And also they're going to want to clog up the passing lanes too with the way that Philadelphia executes their half-court offense. It's going to be interesting if Philadelphia can can kind of get to the hoop, it's going to be difficult for Orlando to keep up here. I think that because of Philly's injuries and just the way that the season has ended, I think that the line is a little deflated. I do like Philadelphia here. I bet them I bet the -1.5 and -2, so we're still at the -2 there. In terms of the long term, kind of after this game, I do think that Philadelphia can give Boston a bit of trouble. I don't think Orlando can. Philadelphia, I think, offensively especially, I think that they can keep the pressure on Boston. The problem is, I don't think it's going to be enough. Boston's a better all-around team, and I think that even though the Sixers can make the series interesting, I don't think that they'll have enough to pull it off.
Okay, so we'll lock in the 76ers there, but I mean we can always revisit this again when if that comes to fruition, see what the series prices are on that one. But yeah, I'm curious. So okay, I want to go over to the West, but I don't know if you know this or not, or like if it's just like there's not even a reason for it. But why would they have the 9, 10 seeds playing in the East tonight? Which that I feel like that makes less sense. Where now the winner or the loser of that 7-8 game is going to have to play on no rest the next night against the winner of the game tonight, and then they're not doing that in the West. It feels like they're punishing the 7-8 team in the East more so by like making them play a back-to-back on Thursday, and then they're not following that same format in the West. Is that just like a weird quirk that's not like intentional? It's just how it worked out. I don't know.
I have no idea. I wouldn't be able to answer that. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's something where like if I were a fan of like Orlando or Philly, and I lost that game, and then I had to play the next night against a team that was rested,
Yeah.
I'd be a little bit ticked off. Like that would not. Anyways, that would not fly with me. But these leagues kind of get in
Or
their
you could
way,
just win your
their own
game
way all the time.
and
Yeah, you could. You
not worry
could.
about it.
But, sometimes, I mean, I guess, yeah, you have about 50 chances in the NBA to get into the playoffs. So that's nice for these teams. I saw that Golden State was like, they had 35 or 36 wins compared to like 46 or something like 10 more wins for the top team in the play-in. And here they are with like, all they have to do is win 2 games. They're in the playoffs. Yeah, we will switch over to the West here, though. We won't go to Golden State first because that's not the game that's tonight. It's Portland and Phoenix. Phoenix 3-point favorites right now over Portland, a total of 217.5. Do you have something in this game as well? You're firing today. I love it.
I do. I have something in this game.
Oh, okay.
So you have to credit Phoenix for the way that they've kind of reinvented themselves after last season, and that started on the defensive end. They are a good defensive team. Um, Portland, the last few games heading into the playoffs, they have really good numbers as well. The thing where I have where I have an edge in this game is that I think that Portland is a better balanced team. They have a good mix of younger talent, but they also have playoff pedigree as well. So some of the veterans on that team they have been there, and I think that that's where kind of Phoenix probably falls short here. And depending on the playoffs, depending on your defense to get you to this point is one thing, but now you have to kind of step up that defensive intensity even more. And that I think is going to take away from the offensive end for Phoenix as well. So I think that I did play Portland +4. I like them. I mean, you can get +3.5, +3 right now. I do like them down to that number. I think that Portland is going to win this game straight up, and I think that they have the advantage in terms of kind of their playoff experience on that team that's going to push them through here.
So yeah, there are a lot of 3.5s available. So obviously shop around for that one. FanDuel best price in market on Philly and that over in Miami, Charlotte. But there are better numbers available on Portland if you want to back them there. So yeah, we'll lock that one in too. Do you think that Portland then they would go and face San Antonio in the first round? Do you think that they could give the Spurs a run for their money at all, or is this kind of like a get in and get waxed type of situation?
I don't think they'll get waxed. I
Okay.
think that probably 6 games. I think it'll be a good series, but I don't think Portland is going to have the horses here.
Okay. And then that would mean Phoenix would play on Thursday against the winner of this Golden State LAC game tomorrow. Clippers -5 on FanDuel, total of 220.5, which is only -105 to the over right now. That is the best price in market, as we're seeing 221, 221.5s pop across the board right now. Are you interested in that 220.5, or is this a very sharp number from FanDuel and maybe you're looking to the other side?
So it's a sharp number from FanDuel, but I don't have anything in this game, and I don't anticipate that I will. Um, it comes down to how well the Clippers are going to defend the three here. They're a middling um, team against defending the threes, and it's one of those games. If like I think the number's too high on the Clippers, they did take money this morning. Maybe if it gets to the 6.5 range, or you can pick off a cheap 7, maybe I'll be interested in that. But at 5.5 right now, with the Clippers taking money this morning, there's really there's no upside for me the day before getting involved in this game. So I would wait. If it gets to a 7 or a cheap or like a relatively cheap 7, that's where I would be interested in Golden State. But there's no reason to be betting that right now.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. So almost like 36 hours still until this game tips off. So we'll see how high this one gets. Maybe something to monitor for tomorrow as well. A lot of people in the chat have answered my question for me. I should have realized this. I guess people should have realized this really. The reason the reason that Philly could not play tonight is because the Flyers are at home. So that makes a lot of sense, actually. I don't even know why I didn't. I just completely glossed over that. So that sucks. I mean, hey, hopefully for the 76ers sake and for our sake, now that we've locked that in, I bet that as you were talking, we can get a Philly win and it doesn't cost them. But yeah, that just feels like a significant disadvantage. If you're Orlando, like it's like, hey, this is not our fault that your arena's not available. Come play in Orlando. We'll play this game tonight. So yeah, that sucks. That feels like a massive disadvantage for one of those teams. I don't know if like does back-to-backs in the NBA. I don't know because I don't actually bet the NBA, but like do back-to-backs in the NBA have the same sort of effect as they would like NHL, something like that? Like the rest is still significant. I know these guys it's not nearly as physical of a sport, but they act like it with all the maintenance they need and the rest days and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, NBA it's a completely different animal. Like I mean, like throughout the day, especially on like a back to back, you gotta like make sure you're on top of that news and stuff with like with like the lineups and like the minute allocation and like how the previous game went. Like sometimes if the players had a lot of minutes, you gotta like adjust their minutes down, and it just it's different. I wouldn't say that it's easier or harder on a back to back on the players. I would just say that it's different, and as a bettor, it's more you have to be more on top of it. With like the NHL, you know that like the goalie is going to be different, right? And like, but like in terms of like the players, you know that how many minutes a player is going to get, whether it's a back to back or not, theoretically. In the NBA, like it's just all over the place.
Okay, so their usage depends on their usage the night before. So it's just a ton of variables that go into it, and it's all sort of case by case. That makes a lot of sense. Before we get into some series stuff, because there are 4 round 1 series that are known before these play-ins. Question from Harold in the chat: was Jason fired? Not yet, but he's on thin ice, very thin ice. So he's suspended right now, and we'll see what happens when he comes back. All right, so Money. 4 series that we do know. We will start in the East, where we have the Knicks and the Hawks, and then the Cavs against the local team here, the Toronto Raptors. Again, I know that we have a ton of love for the Cavs on this show. I think Peanut Butter, Kirk Evans, a lot of guys have come on and talk about the Cavs, not necessarily in the series, but just Cavs futures. I was still shocked to see that number, just considering like it's a 4-5 matchup, right? That's the 4-5, or is that the 3-6?
That's the 4-5.
That's the 4-5. Wow. So I saw like Cavs -500, which was, I mean, I guess if there's a lot of, Cavs love in the market, maybe that makes sense. But just surprised to see that, considering like you look at the NHL when they were in this 1-8 format, you get a 4 versus 5. You don't see a -500 very often. I mean, you don't see a -500 very often in general in the NHL, even if it's like a 1 versus 8. So I was, some big numbers here. Knicks I saw like minus 275-ish. Do you like anything in these two Eastern Conference series or not really?
I do. I do. I do like the Raptors. I think that that number is way too high. Um, Look, I understand the love for the Cavs. I get it. I think that they're a good all around team. I like the upside on that team here, but I think that Toronto is one of those sneaky teams that I think that they're going to stay long enough in this series to make it interesting at the end. And if Cleveland has to make shots to win the series, I think that that's where the edge on the Raptors is going to be. So as long as the Raptors can keep it close, I don't trust Cleveland to close it out. So this is one of those high variance series where it's either going to be Cavs just come out and like blow the doors off Toronto and it's done quick, or if it gets longer, I think that they could be in trouble if they have to, if they have to deliver on the back end of the series. In the Atlanta and New York series, I think it's fair. I think that um, for my future that I'm going to talk about, I kind of need the Hawks to win. But I think it's a fair number right now though.
Okay, a little teaser there. We'll get to the futures very, very shortly. But before we get to those, just flip over to the West here, and we have the Rockets against the Lakers. Rockets, like, I mean, a wide range of prices from what I've seen, anywhere from like minus 500 to like minus 700 against the Lakers, and then the Nuggets in that like minus 350-ish range against the T-Wolves. I believe you had some T-Wolves stuff last year, right? The T-Wolves came through for you last year as a big dog in some series. I know that Isaac Round Robin was in our Circles Off chat earlier today, asking if anyone wanted to take the Rockets so he could bet the Lakers. Do you have any interest in the Lakers, or do you have any interest in the T-Wolves again?
No, I don't have interest in either team. I think that both of these series are going to be pretty straightforward. I think that, in fact, Denver is a little low. I think they're a little short at minus 333 up to minus 350. Um, if anything, I'd be more inclined to lay it on Denver, and I think that Houston is priced where they should be, and I think that's going to be a pretty straightforward series there for them.
Fair enough. And we'll get more like series stuff up on FanDuel over the next day or two. Obviously, like series spreads, all that sort of stuff. And we'll be talking about that a lot on the show the next couple of days as well. So stay tuned for some more info on that. All right. Now, you teased it a little bit. Let's get to the futures here because I'm very curious to hear your take because we need a fresh perspective here. We have the same guys coming on talking about the NBA on here, Peanut Better and Kirk, and I feel like they're all just in cahoots with each other. They're all talking about the same teams. So I need a fresh perspective from you. We've had a lot of Cavs love, a lot of 76ers love, and then in the West, we've had a lot of, you can't find a price short enough on OKC. Basically, they're gonna, I mean, best team ever, gonna coast through any good to any number type of talk. Do you agree with those guys? Like, I mean, with regards to the Cavs, with regards to the 76ers, or disagree on there, or agree with the OKC stuff? Like, where are you kind of at in the East and where are you at in the West right now? And I think I know because you just talked about the Hawks, so I'll let you take it from here.
So I don't disagree with the guys. I think that yeah, like OKC is the best team in the league. Like there's no question about that. And like we talked about the Cavs. They're good all around team, but I just think that they're short, or sorry that they're priced too heavily here. So um, one team that does stand out, and it's going to be a long shot, and like I'm not expecting to win, is the Raptors, right? So they're 40 to 1 at FanDuel. Like I mean, look around, you can get upwards of 50 to 1 in some places, and this is just to win the conference, right? So I think that the Raptors got lucky avoiding the Knicks in the first round. That's not a good matchup for them. I talked about how I feel that they can hang around with the Cavs, and if they beat the Cavs, then yeah, they played the Pistons, and I think the Pistons are fine, but that's not a terrible matchup for the Raptors. And I think that similar to the Cavs, I have trouble trusting the Pistons at the back end of a series, at a back end of a long series. It's not to say that I trust the Raptors in that scenario either, but I think that it's a better opportunity for the Raptors in the back end of those two series as opposed to playing the Knicks and the Celtics, for example. So if you get a 50-1 or 40-1 ticket in the conference final, I mean, that's all you're looking for. You're just looking for just to get there, just on these long shots, just get there and make it interesting. And I think that at a 40-1 price, or a 50-1 price, I think that
or a 75-1 price in some spots.
well, there
I've
you
seen.
go. Yeah. I think that they can get there, and I think that they can make it interesting. So the Raptors for me, I do like the 76ers as well. You're looking at 40-1. Like I said, I think that they can make the Boston series interesting. I don't know if they have enough, but you're also getting 40-1 on it. So that's something to look at. Out west, yeah, OKC is the best team, but they're also minus 150 or minus 160 or whatever, right? Like they're priced how they should be. You're they're favored so heavily in all three of their series that they're going to play. Um, Maybe slightly favored or a little less favored against the Spurs, but like everybody else, they're favored accordingly. The Nuggets stand out. I think that the Nuggets have kind of gone through the whole year under the radar. It is only plus 550, so I'm not crazy about that. Like I'm not locking in a 5-1 or a 6-1 or whatever to win three series. I think you're better off finding series to bet and rolling that over, or game by game situations where if they're in a series that's 2-2, like yeah, you want to lay them in game five, for example, right? So like stuff like that, I think it's more advantageous um, than holding on to a 6-1 for three series. So yeah, so the Nuggets stand out, the Raptors, and possibly the Sixers as well.
Okay, that makes sense. So to recap, we got Charlotte, Miami over 229.5. We have the 76ers minus 1.5. Portland tomorrow night plus 3.5. Or no, Portland's tonight. Portland's tonight. Sorry, Portland tonight plus 3.5. We have Raptors series stuff and East 40-1, 50-1, maybe 75-1. Shop around. And we got some Nuggets love, but again, less so on the current futures odds. More so look at them series to series. Maybe even lay that series price. I've seen like minus 320 in their first round series too, which So Money seems to like. All right. Finally, I can contribute something to the show after this, as we'll flip over to the NHL soon. Before we do, if you do want more NBA talk, we have a massive show coming tomorrow. Not quite Masters extravaganza or Super Bowl extravaganza massive, not 4 hours long, but it is going to be about 90 minutes long. And we are going to have a ton of guests coming on, a lot of very sharp people coming on to talk NBA tomorrow. Jacob will be hosting as Jason's suspension continues. Our NBA playoff extravaganza will have guys like Peanut Butter, Pips, Flup, maybe a little Joey Buckets, Kirk Evans. There was a recent Circles Off interview with a former trader, Aussie-born trader, who will be coming on tomorrow. We have a really, really good guest list. I definitely will recommend you subscribe, set the bell for notifications so that you can be tuned in live tomorrow, because I'm sure these numbers will move. We're going to be having all these guys come on, give their favorite series bets, futures bets, some series prop stuff, a lot of different stuff coming on from some very sharp people tomorrow. And then we're going to do the same thing again on Friday, but this time we're going to do it for the NHL, and I'm going to be hosting that. I got a ton of great guests lined up. Our NHL playoff extravaganza on Friday, the Hammer HQ at 12 o'clock. That will be a 2-hour show. Again, a lot of great guests. So Money will be joining. Some other very sharp people. I don't want to give too much away, but you're not going to want to miss that one. This is it's playoff week at HQ. It's extravaganza week. We are the home for the extravaganzas, apparently. So a lot of fun stuff planned over these next few days on the Hammer HQ. Make sure you are subscribed, and make sure you like the content so we can get this in front of more people. All right, So Money, let's do it. NHL. before we go game to game, there's two things I wanted to talk about. First one is our LA Kings, our playoff bound LA Kings. Not only are they just creeping into a wild card spot, but they have a chance still to finish top 3 in this horrible excuse for a division in the Pacific. I mean, I feel like you kind of accepted that they were going to get there at one point, just like looking at their schedule and how no one could really take the reins. But give me your thoughts on the Kings and then also the Flyers, which I'm really upset about. I had a lot of Flyers no stuff, and Columbus was a shoe-in at one point to make the playoffs. I can't believe they blew it the way they did. So your thoughts on the Kings and then your thoughts on that Columbus Philly situation.
So credit to you on the Kings. You're the one that made it happen because that team still sucks, but you're the one that made it happen. So credit to you
Thank
for
you.
the Kings. No, but seriously, their play has gotten so much better, and they've stepped up their play. And again, you did mention that like even though the results weren't coming, their play was still strong, and we saw that starting to turn around. Now, granted, they did play a lot of shit teams. Their schedule down the
Terrible.
stretch, like they need to send schedule makers like cards or flowers or whatever you
Yes.
send those guys, right? But their schedule down the stretch was outstanding for them. But it's not like they just barely beat bad teams. They played well and they won those games. Even the 1-0 win against the Oilers, that was a dominant 1-0 win.
Mm-hmm.
They looked really good. They had everything shut down defensively, and that's I think that if anything, that's where I think the Kings can be dangerous going forward. Um, if they are if they're all bought in to like shut down defensively, and if Forsberg gets more starts, I think that um, he is the better goalie right now. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if it's been announced or not. How they're going to play the playoffs here, um, but he is the better goalie, and
Mm-hmm.
he needs to start. If he does, I hate to say this, but depending on their route to,
Oh boy.
yeah,
Are we gonna
yeah,
get Kings Oilers again and are we gonna fall for that?
yeah, we are. Depending on their path here, unfortunately, I can see it. I can see the Kings making some noise here,
I
especially
still have
with the
nightmares of the Byfield not being able to clear the puck and them blowing that series after. I still think about
we
that like once a week.
yeah we had 16-1 on a sweep there too,
Yeah.
right? Like
We were
and
there was
they're
right there. Like that
and
was
they're up
right
in game
there.
three. Like it's just yeah. I mean, like depending on their path, I think that this team can be dangerous, especially with teams in the other division like beating the hell out of each other too. So for two series, so I think that the Pacific sucks, but there's a real opportunity here. Like when you are in a weaker division, if you can if you can get your head straight and figure out your game, while the other division beats each other up, like there can be a big opportunity here for the team coming out of the Pacific if you play it right.
Yeah, I agree. I agree for sure. And we'll see. Like, I mean, it's crazy how we have no idea who's going to play who there. It seems like Vegas is
Yeah.
going to win the division because they just need 1 point and they're at home to, I think, the Kraken tomorrow night. So, like, pretty straightforward game. They should win the division. And then I mean, be it below them though, like the Oilers, Ducks, Kings, even Utah is now all of a sudden in a position where they could drop to the second wild card. Kings could leapfrog into the top 3 in the Pacific. Like a lot of unknowns still. So we'll talk a lot more about this on Friday. What we do know is that 2 series have been decided. One of them is completely set in stone with the Pens and the Flyers in Pittsburgh, Game 1. Montreal Tampa is also set in stone, but we just don't know where game 1 will be played. Tampa obviously has a leg up there. If they win their game tomorrow in any fashion against the Rangers, they have the tiebreaker against the Habs. If the Habs win tonight and then Tampa somehow fails to beat the Rangers tomorrow, Tampa will be at home and Montreal will be at home in game 1. We have lines for both of these right now on FanDuel. Pens opened minus 118
Yeah, I do agree with you. I mean, the Penguins are a team that I've been wanting to fade down the stretch, and my original thought was that I think that they might be in trouble against the Flyers, but I mean, depending on the price too, right? Like, if like
Yeah,
I think the Pens have run out too much right now, but I'm not rushing to bet the Flyers either. So I think that both of these teams, I'm not high on going into the playoffs. I do like the way that the Flyers played down the stretch. Um, yeah, so I think it's fair where it is right now. I'd give slight edge to Pittsburgh, but I but again, this is another series where there's an opportunity here, right? So like two teams that aren't expected to
totally.
do much. If they can, um, if they can win quickly and come out unscathed, I mean, going up in the next round, I think that they it it can be dangerous, and we've seen NHL playoffs are completely different. Like there's
Hmm.
teams catch fire all the time, right? And like you have teams making magical runs all the time. There's no reason why any of the 16 teams can't go on a run.
Right. And I mean, there's a scenario where Ottawa plays, I mean, a very, very real scenario where if Boston wins tonight, where Ottawa plays Carolina round one, Ottawa beats Carolina, and then the winner of this series is at home in the second round too. Like, I, I have been talking so much about this Penn team isn't very good, and I want to fade them. I want to fade them. Like, man, I'm starting to be like, there's a real pathway for them to make a deep run here. This is an experienced group. I mean, that's big in the playoffs. Obviously, like goaltending has really held up. We'll see if it continues to, but you've been a Stuart Skinner truther forever. He's looked great. Um, I mean, well coached team. Obviously, like one last run for Crosby, one last run for Gino, Letang. Like Carlson's playing the best hockey he's played in a decade. There's a real path for me to like somehow all of a sudden after hating this Pens team for months to just be like all over them in the playoffs, and it's terrifying. And yeah, I obviously like got to see how the rest of the bracket shakes out, and we'll dive a lot more into this on Friday. But I can't
Can you?
believe the 180 I might be doing right now on Pittsburgh.
Yeah, yeah. And is it really the playoffs without me having Skinner futures?
No, it's not. Skinner, are you betting Skinner Conn Smythe right now or what? I don't even know if it's available yet. But yeah, I mean there'll be a ticket at one point for sure. I'm not gonna. I mean Crosby in the playoffs. I'm not gonna sit there and not bet Crosby Conn Smythe. It's just like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's just disrespectful to not do that. All right, enough with those. Let's get into tonight's games and just quickly before we do talk about tonight's games, your thoughts overall on like the NHL turning into like a little bit of the NBA here with the guys resting. We've seen guys rest in select spots before, but we have never seen it to this degree. And I think some of that has to do with the playoff format being the way it is. But like we are like every night now getting games that are, teams opening plus 120 that are closing minus 170, like just massive, massive edges to be found because of teams resting guys and trying to pick your spots and get ahead of that news. What's like, have you been paying close attention over the last few days and like betting into this stuff, or are you trying to it's just like a busy time and you're trying to avoid it a little bit?
No, I am. It is a busy time, and I'm trying to stay on top of it. I had the Blues yesterday, just at a ridiculous number, and then just how
Yeah.
like where it closed and everything. Um, it's you have to treat it like the preseason. This is
Mhm.
I think the great thing is that it's preseason hockey with regular season limits, and that's an amazing opportunity, right? And also, yeah, you can look at it that like they're resting guys and like it's like the NBA and stuff, but that's chaos, right? And
Mhm.
there's
Oh
edge
yeah,
in
yeah.
chaos, right? So
I love it. Yeah,
I
I love it.
yeah, and I think there's some wonderful opportunities if you're if you're staying on top of the news. So yeah, I think that I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it in the NBA. I think that um, create more chaos, right? Like everybody's betting with their models and stuff. Like at this point, you like throw it all out, and it's like whoever is first to market is going to get the number, right? And I love shit like that. So yeah, so just create that chaos. I just love it.
I agree. This has been great. It's forced me to be glued to the screen a lot more than I usually would on NHL days. Like usually by like a certain time, you can kind of have a good idea of what's going on and walk away. But now it's like if you walk away, like I walked away at one point of the day and missed like a massive piece of news, and like there went like 40 cents of possible CLV, and I was beside myself. Yeah, the FOMO is very real right now. So I hope we didn't miss anything in the first 40 minutes of this show. If any news has broken in the last 40 minutes, I'm going to try and do a quick browse as we're starting to talk through the first game. But post it in the chat if anything's happened, if anything's come through.
Yeah, the chat's going
that
to
we
help us
missed
out here with that.
Yeah, we need some help from the chat over this next little bit as we're talking through this stuff, because this stuff breaks and stuff runs in a hurry. So, all right, let's start here with Washington and Columbus. Caps. What could have been? I mean, if Philly lost that game where they were down 2-0 last night, it looked like they might be blowing that.
Yeah.
This could have been a massive, massive, massive game. Instead, it is a completely meaningless game. And we are looking at two teams that just had their hopes and dreams dashed last night. Blue Jackets minus 154 on FanDuel, Caps plus 128, a total of 6.5. Did you bet anything here?
I didn't. It's run quite a bit on Columbus, which I'm not. I mean, I'm not really. I'm not really understanding that either. Yeah, this is a game that I want to stay away from. So if anything in these kind of games, like where was that Cole Caulfield? Is he messing around?
What?
Yeah. No, sorry.
Oh,
There's a Charles in the chat there.
okay. Charles. Yeah. I was like, you scared me. So yeah, I was like, wait,
I know,
so much. Caulfield, what?
No, so like yeah, like it's one of those games where like if anything, if it's so meaningless to both teams, I would assume Washington is like resting guys. This becomes a preseason game, and one of those preseason games where it just runs too much on the home team because the road team is resting guys. So if anything, I'd be more inclined to bet the Capitals here just on the number. But it's not a game that I've got too much interest in or something that I'm going to spend a lot of time in terms of trying to figure out motivation and who comes out like what.
Fair enough. I am betting the Caps. I haven't bet them yet, but I just kind of wanted to see how far this one, because it's just going and going and going. Like I think all these prices, there's a lot of 130s, the 128 at FanDuel I think is fine. There's 135 out there. Like I don't see how I can't. I'm sure like I remember last year betting the Columbus after they got eliminated. The Habs won against the Habs beat the Canes to eliminate them, and then the next night Columbus played with their season over. But that was like very much like they had a really good season. They wanted to obviously end on a high note. I think the motivation was there for them in that game. Very different circumstances this year, where like they expected more. They bought at the deadline. They were in prime position to be in the playoffs. They were second in the division. It wasn't like they were chasing it and going on some miracle run. I mean, they were in the playoffs and by all accounts, like heavily favored to be a playoff team. The way they kind of collapsed down the stretch, I don't think this game is the same as last year's game when they got eliminated. I think this has run too far. I'm going to be betting the Caps. I know Clay Stevenson is in net. I also bet over. It's Jet Greaves too, but like I think this type of game where both teams are out, you're not going to see like a very physical game, not a lot of checking, kind of going to resemble something more of like pond hockey. I'm going to be betting the Caps, and I did bet the over. So the overs run a little bit here, but I still think there's still some minus 110s available. Minus 115 I think is decent. So yeah, I bet the Caps and I bet this over. We'll go over to the next game, the Devils and Bruins. Another game I bet here. I mean, Boston is out to minus 150 now. I know that they're playing everyone. There are a couple game time decisions, said Sturm, but by all accounts, it sounds like they're basically going to be playing everyone. And Swayman is starting. this is still like a lot of love for a Bruins team that doesn't actually have anything to play for. I mean, they can finish as wild card one. I don't know how important that really is to them. Obviously, like playing everyone means maybe there's some importance, but it's hard to get up for these games still. I'm like, they're not going to have the same intensity. I'm sure they still want to make sure guys don't get hurt. I'm sure their usage is going to be a bit more spread out than it usually is. You're not going to see anyone, playing high minutes on that first line or that top pair. So I bet the Devils at a worse number than was available. Nico Dawes ended up starting, which whatever, he's been fine. It's not like the Devils have had elite goaltending at any point anyways. And now we're getting an even better number. I added a little bit more Devils. I also bet a little bit of over on the Dawes news. So I apparently I'm just firing today. I got over 6 and I got the Devils at basically any number that you could possibly find right now. Do you agree with me on this one?
I agree with you on the Devils. I think that I have been betting them recently. I think that they've played well down the stretch, and this is a team that I think that wants to end the season strong. And they have been playing well. We saw in the Detroit game, we saw in the Ottawa game, even the games that they lost 5-1 to Philadelphia and 5-2 to Pittsburgh or something like that. And I don't think that they didn't look good in the Pittsburgh game, but I don't think that they looked too bad in the Philadelphia game. They just got really bad goaltending from Markstrom in that game. So I like the way that they've been playing, and I'm going to be I'll be on them here.
Okay, yeah. So agreeance, double best bet we'll say on the Devils there. Habs and Flyers. So this is another interesting one where the Flyers called up 5 guys. We don't know who's sitting for them yet, but my best guess would be Zegras and Konechny for sure because they've been battling through some stuff. Can't imagine they'll play here. But like, if you didn't bet the Habs yet, you're certainly not betting them now because this has run a crazy amount. Sounds like Mike Matheson is going to sit for the Habs. Just a little bit of rest for him. Josh Anderson as well. Without knowing who's sitting for Philly, I mean, I'm not looking to buy back on them just yet, but this number is like, it's getting really high in my opinion. What are your thoughts on where we're at right now with this one? Like a minus 220 on FanDuel for the Habs.
Yeah, it's too high, right? Like I think, but again, we don't know about Philadelphia's roster. This could be one of those wild situations, the Minnesota Wild situations like last night. So, yeah, Montreal. If you got them early, I think that's great. You just sit on it and like just hope for the best there, and like you got the best of it. But I can't bet on Montreal now, and I can't bet on Philadelphia not knowing what's happening with their team. So I will pass on it. If they have any, I'm not afraid of betting on AHL lineups. Like depending on the players and how far the number goes, right? If like Philly has like a decent AHL lineup and like Montreal's minus 220 or something, then yeah, I'm more inclined to play Philadelphia there. But for now, I'll have nothing there. So like an AHL lineup with an NHL goalie, right? So like I'm fine with that. But I need more information in this game though.
Yeah, I agree. We'd have to just kind of wait and see here what happens with Philly. Like if it's like wholesale changes, then you'll probably end up getting a better number anyways. So you might as well just wait at that point. But if you get news that the scratches aren't actually that bad, it's just like a couple guys, a couple of their top guys, maybe another veteran in there. Then I think this is at a point where I'd be comfortable buying back on Philly after the big move. So we'll kind of wait and see there. I don't think we'll probably know until closer to puck drop with that one. Same thing with Carolina, where Brendan Moore is going to be meeting with the media at 4:45 Eastern. I'm pretty sure I saw. Not sure what Carolina's going to do here. They've rotated who sat, obviously. So they sat all their big guys 3 games ago. Those guys came in. They sat some other guys on Saturday. And then last night, it was all the big guys who sat again. I don't think they're going to bring those guys back in for this one, especially with now first seed in the East wrapped up. They called up 2 more defensemen today too. I think we're going to see a really weak lineup here. That being said, Isles, the way their season ended, I personally don't have a ton of interest in laying this number, even against, like you said, an AHL team in the Canes. What I did do is I bet the over here. and I love the over basically at any number. FanDuel right now, the sharpest, I'll say the sharpest, not the worst, the sharpest number in the market, minus 114 to the over. I would even bet that, honestly. I think we got Riddick in net for the Isles. We have Kochetkov, who's probably going to start for Carolina, who will make his first start in months, and a game where I think you might not see a single check thrown. This is going to be like, talk about pond hockey. I think this is going to be just a barn burner, just like a lot of lax defense, a lot of offense, and I think we'll see a ton of goals. I played over 6.5, and I played some alt overs too. I think there's sneaky potential for like a 6-5 type of game here. So that's the way I went with this one. How about you?
Yeah, this is a tough one for me too. This is another one of those situations where I'm more inclined to bet Carolina, even with their roster. I'm a little surprised with Brindamore wanting to go, not have anybody in the lineup for two consecutive games. I thought that the last game he would at least get guys going considering their lack of playoff success. But yeah, I
There's
mean
still potential for that, honestly. Like we could find out at 4:45 that like
yeah.
Slavin, Aho, and Svech and all these guys are playing, and then all of a sudden you've got a great bet on the Canes.
Yeah, and like this is like what we talk about, right? Like this is exactly the preseason, right? Like stay on the coaches, stay on when like the lineups are going to come out, and there's going to be amazing opportunities. I think that if Carolina has any semblance of an NHL lineup, we know that that Sorokin is not starting tonight. If Carolina has any sort of NHL lineup, I think that you have to bet that.
Yeah, agreed. Just have to kind of wait and see there. If you are going to be on screen, then 4:45. That's when you're going to 4:45 Eastern time, I should say. That's when you're going to want to set your alarms to remind you that that is when Brindamore is speaking to the media, and that is hopefully around when we'll get a bit more clarity as to this Canes lineup tonight. We will go over to Anaheim and Minnesota. Another very ambiguous situation. We're kind of still in a wait and see here. We don't have any more info yet from Minnesota. Obviously, no morning skate because of the back-to-back. They sat everyone yesterday. Everyone with a pulse did not play in that game. That Blues line obviously got steamed and then steamed more and then steamed even more. And I don't want to say a no doubter because it was like, a tight game at one point, but
It
like
was 3-1
pretty
at one point. They
comfortable.
were down.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, they were down 3-1. Jeez, that's right. I forgot about that. I didn't check it until it was like 4-3, but I remember looking back and be like, oh wow, they were actually down. So it didn't actually quite resonate with me because I wasn't checking it live at that point. Crazy. I have a sneaking suspicion that we see some guys back in the lineup tonight. I'm hoping this just keeps running towards Anaheim because it's like Anaheim needs to win to have a chance to win the division. Anaheim's not winning the division. It's just not going to happen. I'm sure they want to play better right now going into the playoffs, but they are like, I want to bet against this team badly in round one. I want to bet against them right now. They are just a mess, and I think if Minnesota has like even a half decent lineup here, even if some of those guys are back in, I'll be betting the Wild here. How about you?
So this is one of those interesting situations where you would think Minnesota's going to rest all their guys, but you don't really see teams in the last game of the regular season at home dressed not dressing guys. It's more common on the road. That's the Washington Columbus situation here as well. Yeah, so I think that I'll be betting Minnesota, regardless of who starts in net. Um, I do have to wait a little bit in terms of the lineups so that I can time my market entry. But I'm fine with betting Minnesota at the current number. It's just that I know I can get the current number right now. I just have to
Yeah,
wait and see how um, how Minnesota is handling this game. But yeah, I'll be betting the Wild here for sure. It's just a matter of
yeah.
what number I can get.
Yeah, I agree. And just for Michael Russo right now, not lineup news, but I had tweet notifications on for him, Wild beat reporter. He said Hines, his media availability is 5:40 tonight, which I'm assuming is Central Time, so I would think 6:40 Eastern Time. So 3:40 your time. Yeah, that is 6:40 Eastern time. I'll say you can set your clocks to that. That is when Hines is talking to the media. That is when we should have a better idea as to who is in for the Wild tonight. So like you said, I want to bet the Wild kind of regardless at this point, but you just know that if they do sit a lot of guys, they're going to just get a much better number. So you might as well wait. Winnipeg, Utah. Utah needs, I think, 2 points to lock. I don't even know if they 2 points and a Kings loss to wrap up wild card one and avoid that Avs matchup in round one, which I think very much matters to them. You don't want to face obviously Colorado in round one. You want to get that Pacific Division winner. Big number here though against the Jets. I know the Jets on a back-to-back too. I did nothing with this game. How about you?
Nothing for me. I'm not.
Yeah.
The Jets broke my heart. The game. I think that if they found a way to make the playoffs, I think that my retirement would have been a real possibility. Um, but they broke my heart, and I'm not going to be retiring. So I got nothing in this game.
It's good. I'm glad we get to do the show together still next year. I wouldn't have been the same without you. Abs, Flames. Haven't done anything here yet. I have a very strong sneaking suspicion that after playing last night, going into a shootout, all that, I would be stunned if the Avs played their guys. I think Makar plays because they want to probably get him a game before the playoffs. He didn't play last night, so I think Makar comes in, and I think everyone else with a pulse sits here. Even McKinnon, who's chasing the Rocket, I don't think we see McKinnon. I don't think we see Netches. I don't think we see these vets. I think I'm going to be clicking Calgary for sure. Just a matter of when. Again, just kind of like, I'll throw to you, but again, just another kind of wait and see situation, right?
Yeah, and I'd be okay with betting Calgary right now.
Yeah, getting a little
Just
bit, and yeah,
yeah. So like we just wait a little bit, but like if you can't be around the screen or whatever later, like I'm fine with Calgary's number right now.
because
Um,
this is honestly essentially priced like pretty much everyone's playing. Like
yeah,
it
yeah,
would
totally.
if everyone's announced in, it would run a little bit maybe, but you're not
Yeah,
getting that much worse on Calgary
no,
regardless.
exactly, and like it's like we know that Calgary's going to be taking this game so seriously, right? Like or like I mean they're
Yeah,
not good, but
as
like
serious
they're
as they
taking it
can.
seriously,
Yeah,
right? So like yeah, so I I'd be fine with betting Calgary right now. It's just a matter of if you can be around later or not.
yeah, I completely agree with that. Pens, Blues have run quite a bit again after opening closer to that, minus. I saw I think like minus 115, minus 110 even at some spots at open. Penn's probably going to be resting guys here. I would imagine a lot of those guys came back to play against Washington on Sunday. They called up some guys today again. I think that this is going to be a pretty weak Pens lineup. So possible that there's still room to go here on St. Louis. Pittsburgh's one of those dogs that will be resting guys. I think that I don't have interest in betting. Whereas like Minnesota, I kind of want to get there. Carolina, I can see myself getting there. I don't really see myself getting on Pittsburgh here unless like everyone plays, which I really don't anticipate.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think that um, St. Louis again. You have to in these preseason games. You have to consider that the home team, um, if you can get them early in these situations, you're better off. And then once it runs too much, then you can bet on the road team too, right? So like that's where I think that this game is for the most part. If you got St. Louis early, great. I wouldn't bet the Blues right now, and I need something much bigger to be betting the Penguins here.
Yeah, completely agree. And then the last game, my LA Kings against your Vancouver Canucks. This is a really ugly game to end the night. Kings obviously still have stuff to play for. I mean, like avoiding the Avs is not
Yeah,
nothing. We talk about like how seeding doesn't often matter to these teams. This is a case where like seeding really matters. Like no one wants to play Colorado in round one. No one wants to play Colorado in any round. But I mean, if you can avoid them in round one, that is significant. And the Kings all of a sudden are in a spot where they have a real chance to do that, either by passing Utah or by catching Anaheim in the Pacific. So I think the motivation is still there for a Kings team that's playing really well right now. That being said, do I want to lay like minus 150s with them on the road? No, even against a bad Canucks team. So yeah, I'm not looking to fade the Kings here, I guess is how I'll put it. But I'm not betting LA either. So just nothing for me here.
Yeah, nothing for me. As much as I want to say that the Kings are inflated, which they are, and it's the last home game for the Canucks, they just haven't been very good at home either. So like, what does it matter? Yeah,
Well,
it's that.
I hate to break it to you so much. They haven't been very good anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, so I'll have nothing in this game.
All right, so that wraps that up. Just to recap, caps and over for myself. Caps for you as well, right?
No,
Or
not
no?
right now.
No caps. But double best bet on the Devils. I also bet the over there. Waiting and seeing right now on Montreal Philly. Potential chance to get in on Philly if the scratches aren't too bad. Waiting and seeing on Carolina, maybe an opportunity to bet the Canes depending on who sits. I love the over in that game. I bet over and alt over in that Carolina Islanders game. Both of us like Minnesota, but we're going to wait and see here. Potential will get better if everyone sits. If not, if guys play, then we'll bet that quickly when we get that confirmation. Nothing for either of us in Winnipeg, Utah. Nothing in LA, Vancouver. Both of us like Calgary. Can basically bet it now. A chance for that to close really, really well too. And then Pittsburgh, St. Louis. Yeah, maybe still some room on St. Louis, but like it has moved and not too much more we can do with that unless like everyone sits for Pittsburgh. So Money, I appreciate it. Thank you for joining me today. Before I let you go, any quick baseball bet you have for people or not really?
Let me see if there's anything that is okay right now.
I'm putting you on the spot here. You've given out about 15 bets between the NBA and NHL tonight, so no big deal if you don't have anything right now.
Not right now. Nothing makes sense that like is in range still. Actually,
That's all right.
there is
Okay.
something.
Oh yeah.
There is something. The Twins down to plus
Twins.
110. I like.
Twins down to plus 110. I'm just pulling that up right now. We got on FanDuel plus 114. There we go. Plus 114. One of the better numbers out there too. All right. Twins plus 114. I just recapped the NHL bets, the NBA bets from So Money. Charlotte, Miami over 229.5 tonight. Portland plus 3.5 tonight. And then the 76ers minus 1.5 tomorrow. And a lot of Raptors love here. Raptors series, Raptors East. You know, hey, maybe a little Toronto bias from the West Coast. If that's what people are going to accuse the show of now, just some homerism. Thank you for that, So Money. I really appreciate it. Can't win, man. You can't win. You can't win. All right,
No.
So
It's
Money. I
like,
appreciate
yeah.
it.
Like,
I'll see
we know
you.
how much we love Toronto out here.
Yeah. All right. I'll let you go. I will see you. I'll see you on Thursday.
Sounds good. Thanks, Alex.
All right. Take care. All right. I appreciate everyone for joining and sitting through that. Hopefully, you got a lot of value out of these bets here. A lot of basketball bets, a lot of hockey bets, even a baseball bet to close us off. Reminder: tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern, our NBA playoff extravaganza. Some great guests. We got Shipper, we got Kirk, we got Peanut Butter, a ton of guys coming on to give multiple bets each, as well as conference finals and finals picks. So that's going to be jam packed with actionable stuff. You're not going to want to miss that. And then we're going to do it again on Friday for the NHL. Same thing. I'll be hosting that one. A ton of great guests. Definitely going to want to tune into both of those. And we'll have a show Thursday too. Rob is hosting the show Thursday. So, I mean, goes without saying, you're not going to want to miss that one. We're going to have multiple guests coming on Thursday. We have Hitman coming on to talk some NFL draft. I mean, NFL draft stuff, that's going to move pretty quickly, especially if Hitman is giving it out. You're going to want to hit that. I'll be back on Thursday as well to talk hockey with So Money. That is the last night of the regular season, so maybe some interesting stuff there. just looking at all this lineup news. I'm sure it'll be a ton to parse through on Thursday. But yeah, that's it for myself. For Mike behind the scenes, thank you for producing today. For So Money, appreciate it. This has been the Tuesday edition of the Hammer Daily presented by FanDuel.